All right, it is the Over Under podcast. He's Dan Lipschatz. I'm Joe Murray. I'm broadcasting from my chair in my living room. Dan is with his regular mic.
Yep.
So let's get right into it, man. We got college football championship week. We got college basketball. There's a Thursday night football game tonight. The college game got canceled. And NBA. The NBA begins on Christmas. So this is our final podcast of the year because Christmas Eve is next week and then it's New Year's Eve the week after. So I am not stoned, just so everybody knows. I am extremely tired. I got up early today to take care of the snow, and that was dumb. And then my snowblower didn't work. And then I had to work a real job. And then in between that, I tried to get a car out of a driveway. It didn't work. It's not my car. And now I'm waiting for a plow, and nobody's answering me. So anyways, let's go. Let's do this. Final podcast of the year, Dan Lipschatz. College. So Friday night, there's a couple of games, man.
Yeah, we got a bunch of college football, including a conference championship game. Joe, Conference USA. We got the MAC championship. We got the Pac-12 championship, and of course, we got the random fucking Nebraska Rutgers game as well. Do we want to start there? Do we want to start Friday night college football?
Let's do Friday night college football. What do you got? An early game there?
Yeah, so we'll start at the 7:00. UAB takes on Marshall. So I believe it's in Huntington. So I believe Marshall, I guess, is hosting. UAB finished 5-3 on the season, 3-1 in Conference USA play. Marshall 7-1 overall. Obviously, lost that game, one of their last games of the year. 4-1 in Conference USA play. Marshall is a 5-point favorite, and the total in this game is 42. Joe, what do you like in this one?
So off the bat, I'm kind of upset that Marshall didn't win out, you know. So that's one thing that's driving me nuts here. UAB plays great at home. I know they had one home loss this year, but you know them on the road. So I lean Marshall here because they have the better defense. I don't know what kind of UAB team we're going to see. UAB should be in this spot, I believe. They get him 5 points. It's a conference game. I wonder if that loss to Marshall bothered them at all. So early lean is I like Marshall. Like just that fucking 5 points sucks.
Yeah, I'd say so. I guess the total is up to 43 now. I'd go under. I think that we still. I mean, we saw UAB play very good, very strong defensively. I know they struggled against Miami, but throughout their season, they were a strong defensive side. And obviously, we know about Marshall. Outside of that last game, the Rice, where I really don't know what happened. I don't know what happened offensively. They just, defensively, they were fine. They allowed 20 points for the first time this season, but you should still win allowing 20 against a team like Rice. I think it was their first win over a ranked team in a long time. UAB, to me, they just haven't played in a long time, but I mean, they took care of Rice, common opponent. Just in general, their defense outside of, let's say, La Tech and Miami has been really, really good. Of course, Central Arkansas to start the season, but I've been impressed with them defensively. I do think that the under is the right side on this one. I haven't played it yet, but I do think that it's something that I'm going to be interested in, the next day or so and kind of looking into a little bit more. But that would be the way I would go in this one. I think a side's going to be too tough because I think 5 is right near that number.
Under 5-2 the last 7 meetings, Dan. UAB 1-4 the last 5 in Marshall, while the home team is 4-0 against the spread the last 4 meetings. So if we're leaning something, under in Marshall, but it's COVID, throw all that shit out the window this year. All right, moving on. Nebraska Rutgers. So I thought it was interesting yesterday. I was a part of the Aqib Talib interview, and did you hear him shit all over Greg Schiano? I thought that was pretty good.
I did, yeah. It was a good interview, I thought.
So you got Schiano versus Frost. Nebraska's down. They're not good on the road. Rutgers, I think this game's at Rutgers, right? So they're 0-for at home. They're getting 6.5 points at home. And just the trends off the bat, just looking at it, there's no real head-to-head between these. But, dude, the under is on fire. Like, the under has all these trends that lean in the direction in this one. What's the total at the moment?
Let me pull that up for you. Sorry, trying to pay attention to this.
56.
So it's 54 actually.
54?
It's been hit down, so it's at 54.
So there we go. I don't like Nebraska here. I'm sorry. I know they're probably the better team, but I don't like them here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's probably more the square side, but I think I'd probably go Rutgers and take the 6.5, 7. The total, I don't really have a great feel for it. But I mean, if you're making me choose a side in the game, I go Rutgers. This is a game I'm probably staying away from. There's no real motivation factor for either of these teams.
All right. I agree. This game blows. It's Big Ten too, so I'm out. Ball State, Buffalo.
MAC championship.
Let me just throw this out here real quick. I was really high on Ball State this year, and they had that loss early on. They got a good quarterback, man. They got a good team. Like, Ball State is a good team.
Yeah, Drew Plitt is the quarterback there.
He's made mistakes late in games. Buffalo hasn't really been challenged, let's be honest. Now, they did beat Kent State, but they have arguably, Dan, Buffalo has the best running back in the country. Arguably.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. Yeah, arguably, Patterson is definitely one of the top guys for sure.
So 13.5 seems a lot to me. It opened at 11. It's gone up. I like Buffalo to win this game. I think that – so it's funny. The two quarterbacks here, people knew who Platt was. They didn't know who the other kid from Buffalo is who's been playing well. So, the veteran experience might help out in a game like this. But what I've seen, Buffalo has beat everybody, smoked everybody this year. I'd like to lean that way, but this is a game where I think Ball State thought they should be and found themselves in a position to be here. So I think they want to play, and they're going to try to keep it close.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Buffalo, if you look at their MAC schedule, it's probably the easiest. I mean, you look at it, I mean, they faced NIU. Miami, Ohio was a good win, but after that, Bowling Green, Kent, I guess, Kent was pretty good this season, and Akron. I mean, they weren't really challenged. I'd say Ball State, at least in my opinion, was challenged more. They faced an EMU team who may have a bad record, but we're talented. NIU, Toledo, Central Michigan, Western Michigan. I mean, the west side of the MAC was really good, and that comeback victory versus Western Michigan, Ball State was not looking great in that first half. Came back, won that game outright. I was really, really impressed with what they did in that game. It's tough. 13.5 points is a lot of points to lay. I mean, it really is. It opened at 12. It's up to 13.5. I think I'm going to take Ball State if it can get to 14. I haven't totally decided on that, but I think that they can stay with Buffalo. Now everyone is going to be on the over in this game. It's at 68. I know that everyone I've talked to loves the over on this game. I think I'm going to stay away from the total, but I do lean Ball State. I think they're going to cover that spread against Buffalo. It might be a tad bit overrated just because of their schedule.
I did not dig out yet for anybody who fucking is asking. I'm in a mood, let me tell you. But real quick though, Buffalo's at home due to 3-0. They own shit at home. Beating Western Michigan was a good game despite that weird that finish there.
So that the game is actually being played in Ford Field in Detroit.
Ooh.
So it's a neutral site game, yeah.
Yeah, but dude, that running back on the turf, man. Oh no.
I agree. I mean, listen. I think it's an issue, but again, I like Plitt. I like what him and Ball State have done. That Justin Hall kid looks, formidable, and I like Ball State to keep it. I think Buffalo is a slightly bit overrated because that schedule was real easy this year.
All right. I think Buffalo has been kind of sucks. It's a COVID year because man, they definitely were the best team in the MAC this year. But I like Ball State all year. What game did they throw that late pick and lost? I forget what game that was.
That was early in the season. That was
Miami, Ohio.
Right? Yep.
I put Miami, Ohio in their backup. Anyways, all right, moving on. And this is an interesting one. Oregon, USC at the Rose Bowl Friday night. USC's 5-0 with a chance, Dan. They have a chance. Oregon, to me, is not up for it this year. But it's a team that can score. That's where USC has its biggest issues. So off the bat, I'm leaning over 64. I won't take an under in a USC game anymore. I lean over right off the bat. I'll see if there's any trends that lean that way. But the USC this year, they have a fucking horseshoe up their ass, dude. So the line's 3. I saw it open at 3.5. I see 3 right now. I mean, the 3 could even scare you. I think USC wins the game. They go undefeated. They're probably playing a New Year's 6, fighting for a playoff spot if something happens. But, I mean, the ESPN player rankings have them as the 4th best team, which I thought was fucking interesting. But, dude, you beat Oregon, man. Like, you're in a better position than Iowa State. Like, you're undefeated, as you say, so maybe they're ahead of fucking Texas A&M. So they beat USC, dude. I think they're in the conversation, definitely New Year's 6.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the problem is, again, you look at the schedule, who have they played? And by the way, we just got a Wagner cover.
Cover.
Yep, they covered. So that is a winner for anyone who took that one earlier. I will give it a college play. I will give it a college play in a few minutes as well. Shake it up. Yeah, so here's my thing again. USC, who have they played? I mean, UCLA on the road, they struggled. That was their one.
They struggled against everybody. Arizona State, they beat Utah convincingly.
I mean, they beat Utah and Washington State pretty convincingly, but I mean, Arizona State, they almost lost to. Probably should have lost that game. Arizona, who was terrible this year, they struggled with. UCLA, they were losing the whole game. Needed some ref help really to close that one out. I'm really not high on USC, and I got to be honest with you, Joe. I think that there is a chance that their offense will get stifled. Now, I know that they've scored 28 or more in every single game, but Oregon's the best defense they will have played. Oregon is the best team they'll have played easily, and I do think that Oregon's going to give them a little bit of trouble. I'm going to stay away from the spread. It does read to be more of an Oregon line. USC's only getting 3 at home. It's real interesting. Basically means that they're even on a neutral field, which is certainly something. If you're kind of counting home field, I feel like USC is going to be a very, very square late night pick tomorrow night. I don't feel super strongly about a side, but I do think that if you're looking for a play in this game, I actually go under. I think that Oregon's defense can show up a little bit. So I do think they'll be able to hold them under and, maybe like a 28-25 type game.
Ducks, their last 6 road games as an underdog, 0-6 against the spread. The over, 6-1 in the last 7 meetings between these two teams, while the favorite is 4-0 against the spread the last 4 meetings.
Nice.
So just trends, right? Fucking fade them if you want. They're there. All right, so that's your Friday night slate. And then we get into Saturday, and you get Tennessee, Texas A&M. Now, I think I would take Texas A&M here, even though Tennessee's at home. Texas A&M needs a 25 to 30 point win to be convincing. I know it's not a BCS this year or anything like that. But, like, I don't know. If you want to be that team, you got to fucking beat up on Tennessee. No real head-to-head between these two. But, I look at it. Texas A&M 4-0 is a road favorite this year against the spread. But the under is hot between these two teams. They've stayed under a lot, which could hesitate the 14 points there, Dan. But overall, I think Texas A&M should win this matchup. And the total's 51, and the trends say go under.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be super square if you take A&M, and I think that they're probably the right side. Although you won't catch me on them, but I mean, it's gonna be really hard not to lay a Tennessee with anything below 17, in my opinion. In terms of the total, I think that you might have a better chance with an under there. I do think that Texas A&M's defense needs to be the ones that prove that this team is a top 5-6 team. And in order to do that, they really need to control Tennessee. I mean, not exactly a tough thing to do when you have Guantanamo Bay as your quarterback, but A&M's defense is going to have to be the one to kind of show up here. And in my opinion, that's the way I would look. Maybe a Tennessee team total under if you're looking for something in that. And this is not a game I love at all. I know Texas A&M is going to be motivated, but Tennessee, do they want to play spoiler? What is their motivation going into this game? So I think that's something you kind of have to think about if you want to play that.
Yep. Wagner covered. So, yes, everyone's really happy, Dan.
Yep.
So, let's just talk about the bullshit games before we get to the good ones.
Okay.
Florida State, Wake Forest. Wake Forest puts up points. Florida State struggles on the road. It's 6.5 Wake. They're at home. I would probably take Wake Forest here. I think Florida State's packing it in.
Yeah, me too. I think that this would be a Wake or nothing spot for me, especially in North Carolina. Wake's been a good team this year, underrated, even though they're 4-4. I felt like that loss to Louisville, they shit the bed in that game. But other than that, they played real well for 6 straight games, hung in there with UNC. I think they'll get back on track and blow Florida State out to end the season on a high note.
All right, Big Ten Championship, Northwestern, Ohio State. Of course, Ohio State will get in with a win, but the spread's 20. It was 20.5. I'm going to buy it up to 21 anyways. Give me Northwestern, PP. Now, nothing helps me here. Northwestern's 1-7 against the spread the last 8 meetings against them. In Ohio State, they're 1-4-1. The road team, though, Dan, 4-1 against the spread the last 5 meetings, and the over is 6-1 the last 7 meetings, while the favorite has gone 7-1. That's Ohio State. I just think the Northwestern defense, they got a quarterback this year. They're getting disrespected at 20 points. If it was like 10.5 or something, I'd be like, okay, Now, Ohio State, on the other hand, a convincing win against a ranked opponent by 3 touchdowns. That would shut a lot of people like me up, but I'm going to fucking go against it, and I'm going Northwestern. I guess I'll have to go plus 20, but I'm going to buy it to 21.
No, I agree with you. And here's the thing for me. It's a neutral site game, so giving Northwestern, 20 is ridiculous, in my opinion, that they're getting that many points. We saw a similar line in the Indiana game, Joe, and I think that we're going to see a similar outcome. Peyton Ramsey is really improved that Northwestern offense incredibly. Leaps and bounds. The fact that they lost to Michigan State was shocking, but they got back on track versus Illinois. I expect them to have a good game going in OSU. They knew they were going to end up playing in this game, or they knew they were going to end up playing in the Big Ten Championship. Didn't know if it was going to be Ohio State or not, but Ohio State, I mean, outside that Indiana game, what's their most impressive win? Penn State, and that game was way closer. Looking at how Penn State's season unfolded, it was way closer than we would have expected. The line says blowout to me, but I can't take Ohio State in this game. I do think that Northwestern's going to score. I think Ohio State's going to score. I would look at maybe the total there if you like a total, maybe the over. But I think this is a game where you got to go Northwestern or nothing. I can't lay 20-21 with Ohio State. Can't do it.
Big 12 championship game, Oklahoma, Iowa State. I don't know where it's being played. Neutral site.
It is being played in Arlington, Texas, at the AT&T Stadium.
Here's the deal. Iowa State owns this matchup. They've won 5 straight against Oklahoma. They beat them earlier this year. Iowa State is still getting 5 points, Dan. I mean, it's hard to go against a team that has your number, right? The underdog's 4-0 against the spread the last 4 meetings between these two teams. Spencer Rattler's first game, right? First Big 12 against a veteran-laden team that had their hiccups early in the year and are right there, 6th in the somehow 6th in the bowl game. But I like Oklahoma. I really do. Got to give me the 5 points in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa State should not be ranked 6th. They don't deserve to be, that high. Maybe 10.
Yeah,
I mean,
they haven't beaten anybody either. I mean, they beat Texas, but like,
I mean, again, the Big 12 was way better than most people, most conferences this year. I mean, they beat TCU, they beat Oklahoma, they beat Kansas State, they blew out Kansas State 45-0. They blew out West Virginia 42-6, beat Texas on the road. I mean, they had a strong season. That loss at Oklahoma State by 3. I mean, it was on the road by 3. It's not exactly a devastating loss. And that Lafayette game, I don't know what happened. They were just not prepared, not ready. Matt Campbell didn't have them ready. He'll obviously have them ready for this game. And it does feel like Campbell and Purdy have Oklahoma's number. I definitely will not be on the Oklahoma side. No way. There's no way that I'm going to be laying the points in this one. I know that that's probably going to be the big public side. I think I would go against the public here. I think I would take Iowa State. I would take the experience, and Rattler. He in big spots this year. He has shit down his leg, and I kind of expect more of the same of that, especially in a championship game for a big time bowl. To me, it's Iowa State. I'd maybe look a money line too if I'm going to take them.
Yeah, the Big 12 is getting a lot of love this year.
I mean, it's a better conference than pretty much any conference in the country. You could argue to me the SEC is better, and I would probably agree with that. But ACC, I mean, not even fucking close. Big 10, not even close. Pac-12, not even close. I mean,
well, let's face it. Like the SEC's down this year. I mean, they're usually top heavy, right? LSU, Auburn, they're not high this year.
No,
like Texas A&M is there, but like they're just
Florida, Georgia.
Florida's gone down. Georgia's gone down. I mean, wow, right?
I mean, yeah, right Clemson lost to Notre Dame. I mean, I
do think the SEC is down this year, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Top heavy.
Yeah, I mean, having LSU and Auburn really suck this year is tough. Even Kentucky's just terrible. So I mean, yeah, the SEC is absolutely down. I do think the Big 12 is. I do think the SEC is probably still better than the Big 12 just because the quality of opponent at the top. And I put the Big 12 obviously ahead of the ACC, as we have all discussed this many a times. So.
All right, 1:30, Washington State at Utah. Loved Utah last week. Dan, I mentioned his name. It's funny. Whenever I mention a running back's name, I go off. Ty Jordan from Utah. Kid went off last week as a freshman. Utah might be getting a little too much love here at 10.5, but I think they win. They're at home. And the kid Bentley, remember him at South Carolina?
Oh, yeah.
He's been decent. Decent enough, I should say. If they play good defense and give that kid the running back the ball, and he doesn't fuck it up, they'll be a decent, above average team. They're winning with Bentley, but I'm just looking at it future wise. They're gonna have to find a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Bentley's not the answer there. He's not, and but Washington State, I mean, they have a kid. I mean, I like Delora. I think he plays, pretty well. I think he's a good competent quarterback. I'm interested to see what happens here. I mean, again, you got to look at this game and, and again, it's a motivation game. Well, what side is going to have the motivation here? I don't think it's going to be really specifically any sort of motivation. I think it's hard to pick a side in this one. I think maybe you need to, look at, I think you need to more, look at a total in this one. I think a side is going to be very tough to choose here.
Air Force goes to Army. How about that? Back-to-back weeks. You get the Armed Forces. Army, we saw what they did last week. Decent defense, 7-0 at home.
Yep.
I like the Air Force here, man. I'm not fucking around in this one.
I was shocked how good Army's defense was last week. I really thought Navy would win that game outright. I thought it was
crazy. Touchdown there at the opening half. You fucking, you know what I mean? You go out, it's a 7-3 game.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I was shocked that I was shocked about how badly they played, but you have to give credit to Army as well. I mean, their defense was solid. And I think we're going to see something similar this week. Obviously, defensively, both sides of the ball, there were no points scored. I expect that to change this week. I expect that we'll see some points scored. Air Force is not the same type of team that Navy is, and so therefore they should be able to score. I mean, they put up 30 on Boise and 35 on Utah State. I mean, this is not outside that San Jose State clunker, which I think they overlooked to Boise that game. Because before people really thought, realized how good San Jose State was, I think that, they were just Air Force was a good offensive team this year. And so I'm going to be looking at the over. I'm not locking it in yet, but definitely one of my stronger leans in college football. I really like the Air Force Army over for Saturday.
Okay. Get this game out of the way. LSU's -1 after their win last week against Ole Miss. Dude, I didn't realize that was what's his name's kid, Brad Johnson.
Yeah,
Johnson? No, I didn't know that. I don't know. I'm out on this game, but LSU -1. That one seems to me like the books want it. They want you to take that.
Yeah, it stinks. It opened -1, and I believe that has moved to Mississippi -2.5, Joe. So there has been a decent size move on that game. Total sitting at 77.5 as well. By the way, I think you're going to look for a shitload of points, and I think taking a side in this one again, motivation factor. Can Orgeron get his team motivated again, coming off a really big win at Florida, knowing their season is over anyways, and they can't play spoiler this week? My answer is, I don't think they can. So it's probably a letdown game for LSU. That being said, Ole Miss, what's their motivation? It's going to be hard to kind of choose a side, but again, I'd probably go sharp and take Mississippi up to that 3 spot and maybe look at the total there and something along those lines.
All right, some breaking news in the NBA. I want to continue here, but looks like the Rockets are trying to trade James Harden right now, and they're looking at Brooklyn and Philadelphia.
Yeah, I still think it's going to end up being Philly. I think it's going to be Ben Simmons. I think there's going to be a deal there to be done eventually. I think Houston will settle on Simmons and, some picks or, something like that. But, it does feel like to me like a classic, like it's a leverage play by Houston to basically say, look, we can get more from other teams, yada, yada, yada. But I think ultimately they will settle on Simmons and some picks. And I think that will end up being the case with that. I think Harden will be a Sixer at the end of the year.
Yep. The only thing I don't like about it is I'm not sure Doc Rivers wants to deal with it. So Brooklyn though, watch out. But I wonder if Brooklyn would flip Kyrie. That'd be fucking great. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think that Brooklyn is essentially run by Kevin Durant. From what I've heard, he has a ridiculous amount of power in that organization. So if Durant wants Harden, they'll get Harden. If Durant ultimately sides with Kyrie, then they won't. I don't think that Houston actually wants Durant or Kyrie. I think they want, a package of those young players, LeVert, yada, Dinwiddie, whatever. But I do think that it's ultimately Durant's call.
all right, we'll get into that in a little bit here. Missouri, Mississippi State don't give a fuck, but Missouri's been the better team this year. How about Dude O'Connell falling? What's his name there? No, Costello. He was going to be a fucking late pick. Now I don't even know.
I mean, there's no way that Costello is even. I wouldn't even consider him on my draft board.
Remember Brian Lewerke? Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't even know Brian Lewerke type.
I mean, Lewerke signed with the Patriots for a little bit. I think Costello's worse than Lewerke. I don't know what happened to him. What I do know is I think that the whole world's going to be on Missouri, and I wonder.
Mike Leach might come out of nowhere.
I mean, I wonder what Leach is going to be able to do with this team. I mean, they have 2 wins this season, LSU and Vanderbilt. I mean, it's unacceptable what's happened over there. Losing to Mississippi and Auburn, and they scored 2 points against Kentucky, losing to Arkansas. I mean, it is unacceptable what's happened with Leach over there. I wonder if he needs a win to end the season on a good note. I wonder. So I would be on the lookout for that.
All right, let's get these 2 games out of the way, and then we'll get into the big one. Minnesota, Wisconsin. I'm going to lean Wisconsin here at 12.5. I've backed Minnesota too many times. When I fade them, when I went with them, they sucked. When I faded them, they won. Wisconsin had a really tough battle with Iowa last week. This is a spot for them to return home, get their running game going, get some points. I'm not even. Minnesota's on the road. Like, I just feel like they're gonna get their fucking shit kicked in by the run game of Wisconsin.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a whiskey or nothing game. I don't think you look at the total unless you really love the under. I think it's whiskey and under, and I think Minnesota probably gets the shit kicked out of them.
How about this game? Boise State, San Jose State.
This is the Mountain West Championship, Joe.
What a fucking game.
Yeah. This is, I mean, San Jose State 6-0 in the Mountain West really comes out of fucking nowhere.
They start slow though, and that's the thing is that Boise starts fast. Now in the last 7 meetings, Boise 5-2, the favorites 5-2 in the last 7 meetings, but it's a different year, man. Like that San Jose, they got good defense, man. They shut teams out second half.
Yeah, I don't think the trends mean diddly squat in this one because San Jose State has been so bad, for the last few years. Now they've obviously turned it around. It's a totally different ball game. I think this is a game I would play second half only. I don't think that you can play this game full game unless you certainly love an angle. Love. I don't see it. If you wanna ride Boise, I get it. I just there's nothing for me in this one unless
like if you're betting,
second half line.
Like if you're betting Boise off like the reputation, you're gonna see this scrappy fucking San Jose State team that's gonna be in it, or like there'll be no blowout, or it's just like if you're hoping for a 7+ point game win by Boise, it's gonna be a fucking grind. It's just not gonna be like if Boise wins, they win, but it ain't gonna be easy, man. And I don't know if I want to take the 6.5, but the more I look at it, if Boise starts fast, I think San Jose State's in trouble. But plus San Jose State had that great comeback from that game against Nevada, man. They showed me a lot. So they got a good defense.
Yeah, my feelings on the game remain unchanged. I'm not touching it. I don't think there's a real clear angle in this one.
All right, Clemson, Notre Dame. We saw what happened in the triple overtime game last time. I liked the Notre Dame in the last matchup. I like Clemson to win this game, but I have to stay consistent. And I'm going to take Notre Dame 10.5. I'll PP it. I think Clemson wins the game. but I think Notre Dame's defense is going to give fucking fits to Etienne, and at times, dude's going to struggle. But I think it's going to come down to Ian Book, and I think he might make a key mistake late in the game when they lose.
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly about taking the under in this one. To me, this is going to be a game where if Clemson wins this game, it's going to be on defense. We've seen Ian Book have his offensive struggles this year. We've seen, Clemson be able to put up points, but I do think that this Notre Dame defense, really, I know last game was a 47-40, blowout. Clemson was missing some of their defensive players that have been told 4 million fucking times by all the Clemson fans how good they are. Now they were missing all their defensive players, yet the spread basically hasn't moved from there. But whatever. Even though Trevor Lawrence was missing the game, but
I even think Clemson's down this year. Now, when I say down, I don't think this is the best Clemson team.
No, I mean, if you put them up against Bama, I'd have to take Bama in a neutral field. That being said,
but I mean, they lost 4 defensive linemen that went to the draft. They're just not as good defensively.
No, they're not. To me, again, I'm going Clemson. I'm going on the under here. I'm not going to BP it. I'll probably give it out Saturday. But to me, it's just this is going to be a defensive game. I do think that this is going to be a game where the two teams obviously played an offensive fucking blowout for the game one. Everyone's going to love the over. The over set or the total was set at 60. I'm going to probably go under that. I'm going to go the opposite side. I think Clemson getting their defensive players back. Notre Dame, understanding their offense a little bit better. Trevor Lawrence is not DJ. They play a very different style of football.
Yeah, I wonder if DJ's a better fit against him. I don't know. We'll find out.
It's exactly my thought. I think Lawrence is going to slow it down more, while DJ is kind of the run it, kind of speed it up guy. I do think that that benefits Notre Dame. That being said, if you're making me choose a side, I'd go Clemson to cover the 10.5. I do think that they'll end up covering and winning, but I'm fucking rooting against it. I want them to lose.
Yeah. I'm looking
for
Notre Dame because Clemson will be out, and I want Ohio State to lose.
I want both of them to lose, and I'm an Ohio State fan. I just want someone to do.
I want mayhem because that's what I want. I want fucking mayhem. Because then when it comes down to that, Dan, I'm going to be like, well, Texas A&M, fuck you, and then I'm going to be like, Florida, fuck you, and then Iowa State, fuck you. And then I'm going to look at Cincinnati and be like, you haven't played in 3 weeks and might not play in your fucking your championship. Fuck you. And then I'm going to keep going, and it's going to be Coastal Carolina. So
I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Do we do that yet?
We have not gotten to that game.
Well, you know what? Give me Coastal Carolina minus fucking 3.
Before we get to that game, before we get to there, okay, because we haven't done the Coastal game, and we do need to go back because we missed it. I figured we were going to save that for last. I just want to talk quickly about college basketball tonight because there's a game I want to give out. It's at 7 o'clock. Right. 7 o'clock. If I don't give it out now, I'll never be able to give it out. So, Kansas is taking on Texas Tech. And obviously a huge fucking game. People are going to be paying attention, watching it, whatever, yada yada yada. Both right now are ranked. I think they're both ranked top 5. Excuse me. No, sorry. Kansas ranked top 5. Texas Tech is top 15. I am going to be taking the under on this game, under 135.5. This to me, Kansas, Texas Tech. So Kansas, Texas Tech under 135.5 PB. Yeah. So to me, this is this is the type of game that you see two very good offenses, two very good defenses play against each other. It causes a little bit slower pace. You're not going to see the fast breakouts for Kansas. You're not going to see the type of offense you usually would. Now I know that there's a lot of people who are on Texas Tech tonight, obviously following the sharp money. They open at -1. It's up to 3, 3.5 some places. I actually think if you can get Kansas at 4, you might have to look to take it as well. I think that's just starting to get disrespectful. It's not Texas Tech is not Purdue. They don't just win every single game at home, but I do think that is a game that's going to be very interesting. I like the under. If you guys disagree, feel free to fade. But I'm just saying that's what I'm playing tonight.
All right, Dan, I'm going to tell you. You know why? Because I'm bored.
You might as well. You're sitting there waiting for.
I'm waiting to get plowed.
Waiting to get plowed.
I just want to get plowed. All right, you know what? I'm an old. I feel I'm old and my fucking body hurts. I've been shoveling shit. Did you shovel today?
No.
What the fuck,
dude? I live in a complex. I pay for that shit. You know. I know. I'm a rich little bitch.
I fucking Coastal Carolina PP -3. Lock it up. I'll tell my chance. Break it up.
So cool. I mean, listen, this is a rematch game, right? This is a rematch game on the road. Coastal Carolina got the win last time. This is in Conway. So
North Conway?
Yeah, Conway, South Carolina, not North Conway.
Not North Conway.
Not North Conway.
I was gonna go to that. I'd go. I'd fucking go.
Of course you would. Who wouldn't go to that game? Listen, Louisiana, coming off that App State victory, and Coastal Carolina barely holding on against Troy after that BYU game. I mean, listen, we know Coastal was looking ahead to this game. Louisiana played a fucking hell of a game versus App State. This is going to be a fantastic game. I think if you're taking a side in this one, Joe, my opinion is that you're riding a team that you like. I think it's simple as that, which means you're probably riding Coastal Carolina.
Oh, by the way, I like blah Lafayette, whatever the fuck they are.
Lafayette,
now,
yep.
They don't throw as much as you think they do, which I think gives Coastal the advantage. I mean, Coastal's really good on run defense. Yeah,
Levi Lewis is definitely not a gunslinger back there. You know, he is a mobile quarterback. He's not, in my opinion, not even close to a pro prospect.
Did they beat them with their backup, or am I wrong?
No, Coastal beat Georgia State, Georgia Southern with their backup. Yeah, this was the last game that McCall was in. And before he got hurt and was out of that Georgia Southern game. So, listen, to me, this is very simple. You got to ride Coastal, and you got to ride them because you feel like they deserve to be in. Beating BYU, beating Lafayette. If they beat Lafayette twice and they beat BYU, they'll have more top 25 ranked victories than either Clemson or Notre Dame. So I mean,
that's what I mean. We need mayhem.
Yep. So I mean, I'm rooting for Coastal. I don't have a play on it, but fuck, I'm rooting for them, man. I want them to
win. Coastal versus Notre Dame. Coastal would have struggles on offense.
I think they would struggle offensively, but I think defensively they would be very formidable. And that being said, our listener over here talks about Trey Regis and Elijah Mitchell, the Raging Cajuns backfield duo, who has been fantastic. You also have to add Levi Lewis into that. I mean, I know he's the quarterback, but he's moving around quite a bit back there. I still again, Coastal was pretty fucking good against those two guys.
They ran all over Iowa State earlier this year, but they've been contained. I don't know. My opinion, they've been contained, and I think Lewis has been overrated. I've watched a lot of Lafayette, a lot of them. Not as much as Coastal, but they've been on a ton of fucking primetime games.
Yeah, I mean, Levi Lewis was the most dangerous player for them.
Yeah, they came back to beat Georgia. I remember they came back to win one of the, and then last week, was it a week ago, 2 weeks ago, they fucking blew somebody out in the second half. So
yeah, Louisiana Monroe.
It'll be a good game. It'll be a good game. Give me Coastal.
Yeah, I think that you look at it's Coastal's run defense is going to have to hold strong against Regis and Mitchell. They did very good job versus Mitchell the first time. Didn't do such a great job versus Regis, but again, I expect Coastal to focus on the run game. If you can take away the run game, load up the box, make it Levi Lewis beat you through the air. I think that's the way you beat them, and we'll see what happens.
All right, let's speed through these. Illinois, Penn State. Illinois is a new coach. Does that help them or hurt them?
I mean, you tell me. You're the one who loves the new coach.
Penn State.
I'd go the opposite way. I go to Illinois.
All right,
Even though they fucking suck.
Stanford, UCLA, I'm telling you, man, UCLA is fucking turning the corner, dude. They've gotten fucking beaten 2 losses. Arizona State and
USC.
USC. They're a good team, man. Chip Kelly's got them turning the corner. I think Stanford's down this year, even though they're 3-2 some fucking how. UCLA's 7 though is a lot. But you know what? I like UCLA in the spot.
I do too. I would go UCLA up and coming program. I think that they'll win that game, and I think they'll cover the number.
How do you not take Tulsa?
Well, we were gonna have Michigan State, Maryland, but that's gone.
I got fucking blew up.
Yep. Tulsa, Cincy. Cincy minus 14.5. Open at 16.
A little hook.
Yeah. Well, it opened at 16. That 14.5 now. Joe, what do you think on this one? Tulsa is really good, but they escaped a few times this year with wins maybe they shouldn't have, like ECU, a game they had no business winning that game. Tulane was another game that they may not have had any business winning. Cincinnati blew through all their good opponents outside of UCF. UCF was the only one that
didn't run it in. They didn't run it in for a cover, those dickheads.
Right. That being said,
I've said karma all year long. Fucking karma. Give me Tulsa 14.5.
All right. I want to wait till Saturday in this one. I do. I want to wait till Saturday in this one. I think the
teams haven't played in like fucking 4 weeks.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, again, it's one of those games. A lot of these are going to start slow. All right. Let's get to the SEC championship.
Alabama. What, dude? Why didn't we bet Alabama every fucking game against the spread this year? We'd be up millions.
I mean, they didn't cover versus Missouri. They covered versus A&M. They didn't cover versus Mississippi. They covered versus Georgia. They covered versus Tennessee. They covered versus Mississippi State. They covered Kentucky. They covered Auburn.
That's pretty good.
They covered LSU. They covered Arkansas.
That's all pretty good there.
That being said, I don't think they cover this week.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I think we saw what happened last week. Florida way overlooked LSU, knowing they were going to be in the championship game, prepping for Alabama. Overlooked that team. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. PP. Give me Florida plus 17.5. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take it. I like the number. I think Florida at least backdoors that at worst. Again, Alabama, who have they faced offensively that can compare to Florida this year? My answer is no one. There's not a single team on that schedule who can compare to them offensively. A&M doesn't. Georgia doesn't. I guess the closest you could say, like the closest is Mississippi, and they scored 48 on Bama. I just think Florida will keep it close. I don't expect Florida to win. I'm just taking the Gators because I think offensively they're different than anything else Alabama has seen this year. So I think they'll keep it close. Well, and by close, I mean within 17.5.
Final game in college football, Arizona State at Oregon State. Oof, Oregon State at home is getting 7. Arizona State, to me, Dan, covering machines. They don't always win the games, but they cover. They won 50, whatever the fuck it was last week. I kind of fade teams that do that.
70.
70, like they went off for 70 last week. They're gonna have trouble scoring this week. Is how it.
I mean, that's pretty much how I feel. I mean, again, I'm not laying 7 with a team whose one win is Arizona, no matter how big of a win that was. Oregon State beat Oregon and Cal, 2 pretty good teams this year.
I think both those teams were in Oregon too.
They were
Oregon State, yeah.
Both were in Oregon State. This game was also in.
Oh no, what they call that? The Civil War or whatever the fuck they call it? I forget what they call it.
No idea. But this game is also in Corvallis. They're 2-2 there, but I expect them to cover this game. I wouldn't even be shocked if they win this game outright. I think that Arizona State coming off that massive victory is going to be, overvalued there. So I would go Oregon State. All right.
For college football, let's get into some hoops. We talked about some games from earlier, Dan. You gave out, I think, a 7 o'clocker already. Creighton St. John's.
Yeah.
Lost. Dude, I'm telling you, man. Like we talked about this on the Saturday show. That Marquette team was impressive, man.
Yeah, I again, it's hard for me to back Creighton tonight in this spot. I know that they're the ninth ranked team. I know that they score a shitload of points almost every night. It seems like they're putting up 80 or 90 points. That being said, I on the road this year, they're 0-1. They haven't really been tested outside that Kansas game, and they were prepped for that Kansas game. Now they're coming off Marquette. Now have to go on the road to St. John's and on the road to UConn. I think we're going to learn a lot about Creighton the next two games, in my opinion. That this is a really big road trip. Laying 7 tonight is a lot on the road against a team like St. John's, who I think has been really good. I mean, I know that they lost to Georgetown in that game. That was on Georgetown, but that game was fucking crazy. It really was. Johns didn't even have a chance, and then somehow they scored a bucket in the fourth overtime, and it was a fucking crazy ass game. They also lost. They lost to Seton Hall the game before. I think I faded them twice in a row. Tonight, I'm not playing St. John's, but I would be on that side. If you like a side in that one, I would ride the Johnnies tonight. I think that they're still a good team, and now they get to be home. Where they haven't played too much, but when they have, they've been offensively incredibly impressive. I know that the last 3 games have not been great, but I still can't lay 7 with Creighton. Can't do it. It's a good game. I can't do it.
How about NC State, St. Louis? I've seen a lot of love for St. Louis with their start. I from the ACC, everyone's impressed with NC State. I talked to our buddy G Unit who really liked NC State. St. Louis getting the love tonight.
Yeah, I'm surprised about how everyone loves the St. Louis team. I mean, you look at who they played so far, and the answer is it hasn't been much. So like I don't want to go crazy over them. Like they do have a nice victory over LSU. So I mean I can't kill them, but like beating Arkansas Pine Bluff is nothing to write home about. You know what I'm saying? Same with Edwardsville and even Indiana State. I mean, maybe another year I look at it and say, hey, Indiana State, good win. I don't think so this year. They're down in the A10. I don't love them. And again, not like NC State's been any fucking fantastic team either. They, faced 3 bad teams, because most of their big games have been postponed. But the one game I can take a look at and say, well, they played UMass Lowell, a team that beat San Francisco, and San Francisco, of course, beat Virginia. And I know you can't always apply that theory, but they crushed them. And I'm surprised that NC State's getting 4.5 on the road. I'm surprised that that's not 1 or 2. This game should be a pick 'em. I know, again, I know the A5 is good and yada yada yada. I'm impressed by what NC State has done. In my opinion, I mean, I think Devon Daniels has been really, really fucking good for them. I know that everyone's going to be all about Perkins tonight and Goodwin and that combo, especially the big guard combo for those guys has been great. But I think NC State can get some, play some really good defense. Devon Daniels is going to have to be huge for them tonight, and if he is, I would not be shocked if NC State wins this game outright. It's almost like the TCU spot facing Oklahoma State last night. Very similar type of spot, in my opinion. Maybe look for a second half line in this. But yeah, I mean, it would be very hard for me to want to play St. Louis tonight. Do feel like that's a dog line right there.
San Francisco, as we know, had a big win earlier this year. They're 5-3. They're taking on Oregon that started the season with a loss, but now 4-1, got back on track. 7 points against San Fran.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a bigger spread than I thought it would be when I was looking at the schedule last night. I think it actually opened at 8, to be honest with you. Now it's down to 7.5. Look, San Francisco had that huge win versus Virginia earlier in the year, and they've been nothing short of fantastic since. I mean, good win at Nevada, good win at Cal Poly, who has been surprisingly much better than most people, including myself, thought they would be. Crushed Long Beach State. Did lose to Cal on the road, and so I'm wondering if maybe they're not as good on the road as we thought. Now they're 1-1. They had a good win at Nevada. This is going to be an interesting test for San Francisco tonight. Oregon, meanwhile, has been fucking, they've dominated every single game except that Washington game. They were not good in that Washington game, but they dominated. Eastern Washington just lit them up. crush Seton Hall. Two really impressive victories there. I would lay the points of Oregon if you're making me have to, but I really don't want to touch this game. I don't know what side to go. I'd lean slightly in the Oregon if you're making me choose a side.
All right, and then finally, I mentioned Marquette. I feel there's a fade situation here, Dan.
Yeah,
Right?
I
Love.
yeah, no, Joe, I agree with you. I think that this is a game where you potentially look to fade Marquette, and I'm not going to get on it because it's too short of a spread. But I am surprised that Marquette is at home and they're only laying 3.5. That
Dude, check
definitely.
out this trend.
Yep.
Underdog is 13-3 against the spread the last 16 meetings between these two teams,
Yeah,
while the road team is 21-7.
yeah, that does not surprise me at all. I mean, these two teams are battle tested road teams, and I seen that really big road win at Penn State early in the season and lost to Louisville by a point on the road.
Big too.
Yeah,
they got Marquette's got that big dude. Lewis, is it?
yeah, yeah. And again, the other thing about Marquette is they're coming off, that huge win against Creighton, dude. I think you're talking about,
Wisconsin a week ago. Like that's
yeah. I mean, I think you're talking about is Justin Lewis. Is that the kid?
Yeah, Justin Lewis. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He's not the main scorer for them. That's
No, but
Dawson.
he's a big dude though. He plays well for them.
Yep. Yeah. He is a good rotation piece. Seton, in my opinion, is going to have to play through. I can't even pronounce his name. Mamakushvili. Okay, thank you. They're gonna have to play through him. He is their offense. If he has a great game, they're in the game. I mean, that's really how you look at it. This is a late one. It's probably one that I'm not gonna be, paying too close attention to tonight. I'll probably, pay attention tomorrow. But what I will say about this is this is a much bigger game for Seton, in my opinion, than it is for Marquette. Marquette's now battle tested. Okay, they have wins against Wisconsin, a win against Creighton. Now, like they were in that OK State game. Seton, to me, look at their schedule. They're I mean, they have a win at Penn State and a win versus St. John's, but losses at Louisville, at Rhode Island, home versus Oregon. This is starting to become a major need for Seton. If they can't get it done versus Marquette, again, it's early in the season. It's not huge, but I'd still say it's a much more important game for Seton. They need to start racking up some quality victories, and the Big East is full of quality opponents. But again, you gotta get them when you can. And Marquette coming off that Creighton victory, this is an upset spot. Seton's got to pull out this victory. I think it's a big game for them. That being said, I'm not touching it. Joe, I do want to talk about one other game at 8:00 tonight. Dixie State is on the road at Southern Utah. Now, Dixie State this year, first year in the WAC, they're 3-0. All right. People are talking about them. They're starting to get a little attention. Southern Utah, 4-1 in the Big Sky now. Okay. They are, consistently, they beat Montana twice. Montana, just beat Washington last night. Dixie State, to me, this is a huge game for them to really test their quality, because they beat North Dakota, they beat Denver. This is a step up, in my opinion, in Southern Utah. The spread in this game tonight it's probably on the button. That being said, 8 points is a lot for Dixie State to be getting. I'm not going wild to take Dixie State. I'm just saying you want a fun underdog story that of a team that could be really good this year. It's Dixie. They opened a 10-point dog. They're down 8. Again, I wouldn't play it. I'm just saying this is maybe one of those small teams you want to pay attention to and root for this year.
All right, and then the Friday slate, we'll do Saturday on our Saturday show. Just a couple of good games off the bat that I see here. Central Michigan, Western Michigan, people love little MAC games. That's a 1-point spread. Also, BYU, San Diego State. That's a good one right there. And then the other one that I saw was who was it? Iowa State and West Virginia. And then let's not forget Air Force plays Nevada as well.
Yeah, there's some really good games Friday. Yeah, we can run those. We normally would run through those. We're gonna do NBA totals, win totals instead, so we're not gonna be able to run through them. But Richmond Loyola, really good game, especially with Loyola being home. Richmond coming off their first loss of the season.
And Loyola plays tonight too.
Yep. No, this I don't think.
Oh, you're thinking Loyola Chicago. Sorry.
Yeah. Davidson, Rhode Island, another good game in the A10. That's going to be an important matchup. You talked about that.
I actually like Davidson this year. I think they got a good little team.
They do. The question is going to be how much quality do they really have, because they've struggled against Charlotte. They lost to Charlotte. Their best win so far this year is UNLV. It seems like they're down. I wonder what they're gonna be able to do against more of a quality opponent in Rhode Island, who I think they're gonna struggle. Iowa State, West Virginia. We talked about West Virginia. To me, still one of the most underrated teams in the country. I gave you West Virginia to win the title. To look at as a team to look at to win the title earlier in the year, and then late night, Air Force, Nevada, and Weber State, Portland State. I don't really care about the Weber State game, but Air Force, Nevada is going to be interesting to me. So that's the game that I will also pay attention. But not a terrible Friday college basketball card when it's usually not great.
All right, that's that. We got through all that in an hour, Dan.
Yep.
Take a quick second here, and then we'll get into NBA win totals for the season. All right, we're back. NBA win totals. What should we go off of? What site should we do?
I'm just going to use the site that I have in front of me, which is Ace. I know it's not the best site in the world, but it's what I'm going to go off of because it's the site that has them all listed. And so most sites have a few teams, but they don't have every team. So if you have a question about a team, feel free to let me know. By the way, Chicago State is playing tomorrow. For those who asked. All right, let's start with what's go in alphabetical order, Joe. Might be easier that way. Let's start with the Atlanta Hawks. Win totals 36.5.
Over.
Everyone loves Atlanta this year. Everyone's super high on the Hawks this year. You like the over?
Over.
Why the over? Because I'm thinking maybe the under on this team. They haven't proven that they can fucking win anything.
I just think that they got better.
I mean, yeah, they got better. They're younger, but I mean, I don't know. To me, this is still a team that, how good is Trae Young going to be? How good is Trae Young? Is John Collins
a good scorer, but is he a great player? That's the thing,
Right? Is John Collins going to step up? Is Cam Reddish? Is Cam Reddish probably going to start playing? What about Kevin Hurt or DeAndre Hunter? Are those guys going to be ready? Like, I know they signed Danilo Gallinari. Obviously they got Capella last year at the deadline. They got Bogdanovich on restricted free agent deal. They have quality. I just wonder if they're going to put it all together. They're young. They're a young team, dude.
They got Bogdan, right, too?
I mean, Gallinari and Rondo are the only two players over 30 on that roster. There's very
I think Bogdan is going to be really good.
Yeah, I mean,
they got bigs, dude. Clint Capella. They got Bruno, that kid from Maryland there.
Yep. John Collins. Again,
Solomon Hill will be a fucking guy for them,
The problem is, again, Agankwu was their first round pick. I just wonder how much actual experience they have, how much veteran experience they have. Is someone going to lead this team? And how good is Trae Young going to be? Is Trae Young going to be, take a step forward from last year? Because if he is, then, then yeah, you like the over. Anyways, let's not get too deep. All right, I'm gonna pass on that one. All right, the Boston Celtics
under
44.5 is the win total.
Under.
Yeah, I will. Are we doing PPs in win totals?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, give me PP. Under 44.5 with the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, they're built for playoffs. They're going to struggle earlier in the year without Kemba Walker, and they're going to consistently have to make a move with that trade exception. They're not going to be a team that's good night in and night out. They're going to have to play the Peyton Pritchard of the world because like they're going to be playing like Jeff Teague can't play every night, so like you're going to be playing like Carson Edwards, and there's going to be a lot of bodies, and early on it's not going to look pretty, but when they're fully healthy, they're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, again, they're going to be a playoff team. I wonder how good they'll be. I think maybe they're a 4th or 5th seed in the East.
I say 5. I agree.
Yeah, here's my problem. Okay, I expect Jalen and Tatum to continue their development, but it's the quality around them. I think you absolutely needed a rim protector. You guys all know how I feel about fucking Miles Turner at this point. I wanted Miles Turner. Danny told me to go fuck myself, and that all the Celtics fans feel like I'm a fucking idiot. So we'll find out how that goes. Tristan Thompson, to me, he's not that guy. He's not. Tristan Thompson doesn't play games. He's constantly hurt. He's already hurt. I don't expect Tristan Thompson. He's not reliable. So to me, Tristan Thompson is your new Gordon Hayward, except he's not as good and he plays less games. He's Thompson claims he wants to be the Marcus Smart, but again, it's just there's no way in my mind that Thompson's going to be healthy all the season. We already know the health issues with Kemba Walker. Robert Williams, the reports out of camp are not super great about him, which is concerning. He didn't play great in the preseason game either. That's concerning. Grant Williams, I expect to take a step forward. And, again, the Javonte Greens, the Peyton Pritchards, obviously, everyone loves Marcus Smart, Jeff Teagues. I expect these guys to contribute and be good players, okay? I think the Celtics are a good team. I'm not telling you they're going to suck or that they should fire Danny Ainge or any of that. I'm just saying this team's going to take a step back. It's going to happen. Without Gordon Hayward, Kemba's going to be out for, I assume, is going to be a pretty substantial amount of time. Early in the season, they're going to manage that knee. And even when he comes back, he's not going to play back-to-backs. And, there are going to be certain games he won't play. He's going to be managed all season until the playoffs. They're going to be potentially a dangerous 4 or 5 seed in the playoffs. But that being said, if you're playing the over 44 as a win total, I think you're reading the tea leaves on this team incorrectly. This is a team that's going to struggle to get through the regular season and just wants to make it to the postseason. That's the way I look at it.
I agree. All right, what else?
All right, Brooklyn, 44.5. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. We know about them.
44 and 70. I think they're the second best team, Dan. So I think 44 is right on. So I'm gonna say over.
I'm gonna go over too. I think that while we're gonna see Kyrie and KD have rest nights, and that's gonna definitely hurt the win total, which is why I wouldn't go too deep on it. I still think that Brooklyn is the most talented team in the NBA outside of the Lakers and maybe the Clippers. Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, Kevin Durant, Joe Harris, don't sleep on Harris, Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Jordan, Karis LeVert, Landry Shamet. They're deep. They have players at multiple positions. They finally have superstar players. If Kyrie Irving does not piss off everyone in this locker room, should be a good team. They should be a good team. They should fight for the Eastern Conference this year. They're my pick to make it out of the East. I know that obviously that's not exactly a fucking shocker, but they're my pick to make it out of the East. I think they will compete for the NBA title. I think as long as they don't get James Harden. They get James Harden, things change, and you have to reevaluate the team, which is why if I do go in on it, I'm not going deep on it. But I do think that it's one to certainly take a look at. I would go the over on Brooklyn. All right. Next one is Charlotte, over 27.5 wins. Joe, how do you feel about LaMelo Ball?
I don't like LaMelo Ball, so I'm going to go under.
So I love LaMelo Ball. I think he's my rookie of the year choice. I think LaMelo is going to be fucking fantastic. That being said, Gordon Hayward already is having injury problems. We Celtics fans know about that well. You take a look at the rest of that roster: Devontae Graham, Miles Bridges, who I like Bridges. The Martin brothers, Terry Rozier, PJ Washington, Cody Sell. There's not enough talent there for me to feel comfortable about taking the over. I would go under. I would. I don't feel super strongly about it just because I do think that Ball is going to be so fucking good there, but I would go under. I would.
Okay.
All right. Chicago, 29.5, Joe.
Under.
I think this one's really fucking spot on. I think this is going to be close. We obviously know about, the roster, Zach LaVine taking steps forward. What is Wendell Carter Jr. going to be this year? He needs to take a step forward. Otto Porter, full season. Thaddeus Young, we obviously have heard there's already issues there, so I'm not expecting much from him. I think that this, Laurie Markkinen, of course, I think this is going to be a really good team, but I'm not ready to go to the next level yet. I still wonder what Kobe White's going to be out of UNC, if he's going to take a step forward. Who's going to take a step forward on this roster? They're going to need at least 1 to 2 guys, young players, to really take a step forward. I'm not expecting much out of Patrick Robinson, who was their first round pick. He's raw, not, he's super talented, but super raw. I just don't think that they're here. And they did add Satoransky too. But still, I'd say under, but I don't love it. Don't love it. All right, Joe, here's one I do like. Cleveland, over under 21.5.
I'm gonna go over. That seems low.
Okay, I'm PPing the under. Okay, think about what Cleveland did last year in a 82 game schedule. They won 19 games. Now it's less games and the win total has gone up. I think their roster has gotten worse. I don't really understand the love this year for Cleveland. In my opinion, I mean, listen, I get it. Everyone likes Andre Drummond. I think the Adam Jones of the world, the guys who like Andre Drummond are guys who care about stats more than actual production on the floor. Drummond sucks. Plain and simple. He's traded for cap space. Darius Garland, it's going to be the question of does he make the step forward? Okoro, to me, is not going to give you a ton. Kevin Porter Jr., I still think is really raw as well. Colin Sexton is going to be the leader of the team again. And, Kevin Love sucks at this point. He's just a body as a name.
Jeez, he's still there, huh? They're never getting out of that contract.
Horrendous contract. To me, you're riding with a bunch of really young kids and no veteran leadership. Del Vadova and Kevin Love are the only guys over 32 on that roster besides JaVale McGee. I mean, really.
Ooh, yeah, you might be right about that.
They have no veteran leadership. A lot of kids. Not a lot of kids know how to do it. I expect them to struggle mightily this year. Give me the under on Cleveland this year. All right, Joe, moving on. Dallas and the Luka Doncic's over 42.5. Over under 42.5.
Too many under.
I think I agree. In the West, it's a lot of wins there.
70 games?
72 games. It's a lot of wins for a team who, what were they?
They can go like 38 and 35 and make a playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be better than that. I expect this number to be pretty close. I think they'll probably get 40, but I think they'll safely be under. Just the Western Conference is too talented right now. And again, I look at the roster and say, well, where did they really improve? They got Josh Richardson. He's a nice player. I'm not exactly high on James Johnson. To me, this is still a roster that very much, you're relying on the health of Kristaps Porzingis, and that is fucking dangerous when you're playing a total for a season. So I think you're going to go with the under. All right. On to the next one. Denver, 43.5.
Did they get better?
I think they did. I'm going to go with the over here reluctantly, but I am. I think Bol takes a step forward.
There you go. He looks, whenever he plays, he produces.
Yep. He was super impressive last year. I like Nikola. Obviously, you like Nikola Jokic. Sorry, Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. Everyone expecting big things from a step forward. People are not talking about Monte Morris as a guy who could take some steps forward this year, and obviously they bring back Millsap. Deep roster, good roster. If they can get, some bench production from Will Barton and Bol this season, I think that team's going to be much better than people think. Give me the over with Denver. Again, another good team. Another good team out there in the West. All right, Joe. I'm going to make you elaborate on this one a little bit because I have a second. The Detroit Pistons over 23.5. Over under 23.5.
Oh, the Pistons improved, I thought. This year, obviously, they got the new coach here. which is going to help things. But I'm going to say over because I think they were just so bad last year. But Blake Griffin, what's his deal? They got Mason Plumlee, Jeremy Grant's a good player. Obviously, Derrick Rose is probably going to come off the bench for them now. He gives them some leadership. The kid McCulloch, remember him from Kansas? He can fucking shoot. So I just feel like Jeremy Grant's going to really turn into the scorer that he's been held back being. They drafted Sadiq Bey, so they probably want to get him involved as well. And Josh Jackson's going to continue to do his thing. So I'll go over because I think they're well coached, and they're going and maybe Blake Griffin's healthy and gives them a little something.
So the kid I'm looking for to me the most with Detroit is Sekou Doumbia. He looks like he's finally taking some steps forward. There's been reports, some good stuff coming out of him coming out of camp for him. Killian Hayes, we're gonna have to find out how they use him. Same with Bay. Team is just really, really young. I'm gonna lean under. I'm gonna lean under here, but I can definitely see an argument for an over and just kind of being a surprise team, kind of like the Kings were a couple of years ago. The problem is that, you're relying a lot on Blake Griffin there. And I don't expect, Griffin has gotten worse, can't stay healthy. And they don't have, outside of Rose, you're going to have to, Jeremy Grant's really going to have to emerge as a scoring option if Doumbia doesn't. So I'm not sold that they're going to have a whole bunch of success finding another scorer there. So I'm going to lean under. Joe, next one, Golden State Warriors over under 38.5.
So I'm going over. I saw a lot of people I like take this total this year. Seth Curry's dude, like they're going to beat up on the bad teams in the West, right? So I'm going to go over, but really it's a tough bet because does Steph Curry stay healthy? You know what I mean? So I'm going to say over, but at the same time, be careful because I don't know what's going to happen with fucking stuff.
I'm going to say under. I think this number's right on the mark. Here's my problem. I don't know where you're going to get your secondary scoring from. If Kelly Oubre is going to be your secondary scoring option, I think you're in trouble offensively. And that's kind of where I look at this roster and say, well, where are you going to get it from? Is Marquise Chris going to come out and be, a big time scorer now? Is Kelly Oubre, who gave you 19 with the Suns last year, is he going to be able to replicate, that production with Golden State? My answer is no. I don't think he'll be able to do that. I think they'll be able to key in on him a little bit, even though, Curry makes it a little bit easier. Draymond to me offensively continues to kind of, go down. And so I'm not expecting a lot of him. I think it's rely on guys like Eric Paschal, Brad Wanamaker. Scary, I know. James Wiseman.
You looked good last night in that preseason game.
Yeah, James Wiseman, who, has been, who has looked okay so far. And, Andrew Wiggins. It's asking a lot from these guys. Now, some of them are bigger names, and guys like Wiggins, Oubre, et cetera. I think you're asking a lot from that Warriors roster. Now they're deeper than most teams are, so they might have a bench advantage. But I don't think I can take the over. I think there's too many good teams. I would not be shocked if Golden State missed the playoffs, just completely missed it. And they kind of end up tanking again. All right, Joe, here's an interesting one for you. Over under 39.5 wins for Indiana.
Ooh. Let's see what they did last year.
You want me to pull up the record for you?
Last year,
they were 45-28.
And it's 42. Yeah, I'm gonna. Ooh.
No, right. The total is over under 39.5.
Oh, over. TJ Warren's gonna really help them. I'll go over because maybe they lap the Raptors this year.
So I think this is going to be a team that the Celtics are going to have to compete with for that fourth spot. But ultimately, I think the Pacers finish behind the Celtics. I'm going to go under. You have to rely on the health of Malcolm Brogdon. You're going to have to hope that the Holidays continue their bubble play. You're going to have to hope that Victor Oladipo stays healthy and Domantas Sabonis is recovered from an injury and stays healthy. You're going to have to hope that TJ Warren is still, is healthy and doesn't have this recurring injury that keeps coming back. There's a lot of health issues with this team, and that's what scares me. Long-term outlook for this team. I think they're good. If they go into the playoffs and they're healthy, I think they'll make a little bit of noise, or at least, give a team a really good fight. But to me, I absolutely cannot take the over on this team, just knowing how many injury risks they currently have. Miles Turner, to me, the only guy who doesn't have a major injury risk, which is funny. So we'll see. I think that this team is really, really deep when healthy. I'm just concerned that they won't stay healthy. That's all. All right, Joe.
Yeah. What do we got now?
Los Angeles Clippers over under 46.5 wins.
I don't think they care about the regular season. So I'm going to say under.
Give me a PP under 46.5 wins. Again, we're looking at the same thing. There's going to be guys who are sitting out. I think that their issues from the playoffs last year have not been solved. I tried to tell you that I thought they were the most overrated team in the NBA last year, and no one wanted to listen, except the few people who ended up taking the Lakers with me. They did listen. I think you look at the roster, and it's pretty much the same. I mean, really, they haven't really added anything outside of Luke Kennard and Serge Ibaka. Now, I really like Ibaka. I think he is going to help them. But again, I don't give a shit about Nick Batum, and Luke Kennard is a shooter. You're just replacing one shooter with another shooter. I think that the problems that have been with the Clippers are the same problems. You replace Doc Rivers with Ty Lue, who, in my opinion, is literally just the same thing. He's a guy who has nothing to do with the route. He isn't controlled whatsoever. The star players run the show. It's a problem. Give me the Clippers under. All right. Speaking of LA teams, Joe, LA Lakers over under 47.5. We'll speed things up here.
Lakers again. I'll go under. They don't care about the regular season.
I will say under 2, but I definitely don't feel as strongly about this one. They're a team again. They got better. They got better. And their younger players are going to continue to develop. I still like them, but I can't justify taking 47.5 in a 72 game season. All right, Memphis over under 30.5. This one's going to be a tricky one, I think.
I'm going to go under.
I think I am too. I think I'm going to go under just because the West is so deep. I know obviously they had. They bring back John Morant. Jaren Jackson was fantastic. Brandon Clark, when he was healthy, was fantastic. They have a lot of talents. Again, I look at the roster and say, well, where are the veterans? Outside of Dieng, they do not have a single player 30 or over on the entire roster. At some point, I do think that that's going to catch up to them, especially in a season like this where travel is going to be difficult, yada, yada, yada. I know Valanciunas is up there. He's 28, but again, still – I look at the roster and say they don't have the experience, and I think that in a playoff race they're going to struggle. I'm going to go under. I don't love it, but I would lean under. Miami 43.5. Joe,
under.
I'm going to go over. They got better in my opinion, and there's some of their younger players are going to be better. I think that they're going to be competing with the Celtics right in that 43 win, 44 win range. I think they'll finish over like 44, 45 range against the Celtics. Milwaukee over under 50.5. Joe,
under.
Yeah, I'm going to go over. I think that they got significantly better defensively, which is one of their major issues, especially in the playoffs, not during the regular season, but the playoffs. J.R. Holiday is fantastic. I think that they are going to continue to be a dominant regular season team. Bobby Portis should help as well. They'll have a whole season of Marvin Williams. Their bench is a little bit better. I think with a whole season, they'll win 50 games again. The problem is, what are they going to do in the playoffs? They'll either be the number 1 or number 2 seed in the East. We'll see. All right. Over under 29.5 wins for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Joe.
Under. It's what, D'Angelo Russell, and so I'm going under. I just don't think there's enough help there with that team in the West.
Again, remember they did go number 1 overall. They got Anthony Edwards.
I don't think he's going to help.
I think it'll help a bit. I think 29.5 is right around the number. I think I would stay away from this one. Again, Ricky Rubio for the whole season. Have Anthony Edwards. Culver took a step forward. Malik Beasley looks like he's taking steps forward. I think they're going to be right around there. All right, Joe. New Orleans 35.5.
Over.
Okay. I struggle with this one. I go back and forth. I think it will go over. It's definitely one of the more square overs, but I think it will go over. It just speaks to how deep the Western Conference is and how good the Western Conference is. But they have so much talent on that roster. Again, they do lose Jrue Holiday, and JJ Redick is going to have to play a major leadership role in that team. Same with Eric Bledsoe. And I do worry anytime Bledsoe has to be a major leadership on the team. So, anyways, that's my question. Steven Adams is going to be a big addition for them down low, though. I'm going to go over, but I don't feel great about it. All right, Joe. New York Knicks over under 22.5 wins.
Under.
Going under 2. Not going to PP it, but I think this is a pretty solid bet. They haven't really gotten better. Obi Toppin is not going to lead you to the promised land. And RJ Barrett, to me, struggled year 1. They have your boy Miles Powell, Joe, so maybe he'll sign a contract.
Undrafted.
Yep, undrafted free agent. Mitchell Robinson, obviously played well. Is this the year that their young talent finally puts it together? It's the Knicks, so I'd say no.
No.
All right, Oklahoma City Thunder over under 22.5 wins.
Who was it again? I'm sorry.
The Oklahoma City Thunder.
Ooh, very good team. I'm going over. I know they lost Chris Paul though, but yeah.
I'm gonna PP the under, and I know it's probably a little bit dangerous here, getting Al Horford and George Hill and guys like that, but I just don't see anyone else in that team who can score outside of Gilgeous-Alexander. Horford's not a scorer. I mean, who are you going to get points from? Dort is going to be your second option potentially, maybe Andre Roberson, and that is fucking terrifying. If I'm Oklahoma City, I got to go under because I don't think they're going to be able to score. I just don't. Orlando Magic over under 31.5 wins, Joe.
Magic are going under.
All right. To me, that's right on the number. I don't really have much on that. Philadelphia 76ers over under 44.5.
Ooh, 44.5, huh?
Yep.
Lillard, they strike. I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to assume that they're going to get James Harden. I'm going to make a bet, essentially, that they get James Harden. If they get James Harden, they'll go over because Harden will be good enough and will lead that team to victory. If they don't get James Harden, I think the game will go under. So this is basically a will Philadelphia get James Harden bet. And if you're interested,
plus 175 was it?
It was plus 175, but again, the max on that is very small. So the limit on that is like $100 or whatever. So this is a bet if you're looking for something. Does Philly get James Harden? If you think it's yes, I would go over. I'm not going to PP it, but I do like that one. The Phoenix Suns over under 39.5 wins, Joe. I know everyone's going to be on the over on this one. What do you think?
Under.
I don't know about this. I think everyone's going to be on the over. I don't know if this is going to be a square hit or not. Phoenix, I mean, they got better, obviously. Getting fucking Chris Paul on your team, getting Dario Saric, getting Jay Crowder. Like, they got better. I wonder how it's going to look. 40 wins, even in the Western Conference, is a lot. It's lean under. All right, Portland Trailblazers over under 40.5 wins, Joe.
Under.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to PP this one. I'm going to go under 40.5 for Portland. I think they're going to regress heavily. Continue to regress until they figure out what to do with Lillard and CJ McCollum. that team is going to regress. They need to move on to those guys. All right, Sacramento over under 28.5 wins.
Under. I'm gonna PP that one. Under.
My PP. All right.
I think they're gonna trade off Buddy Hield or who else? Maybe Harrison Barnes.
I mean, you would. I don't know if Barnes is going to be a movable contract, but I mean, yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, it's going to be De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Ramsey, Parker, Whiteside. It's an interesting mix of players, but I don't see it working super well. I like Bagley. I do. I like Bagley and Fox, and I think Buddy Hield is supremely overrated. He's a nice 3-point shooter, but that's all he really does. I don't love the roster. In the Western Conference, you got to go under. San Antonio Spurs over under 29.5 wins.
Under.
I'm going to go over on this one. This is going to be my surprise team in the West this year to maybe make the playoffs. Trey Lyles was impressive to me last year. DeJounte Murray is back and healthy. Portal to me was impressive. I like what they have in Devin Vassell out of Florida State. Lonnie Walker took a step forward for me last year. Derek White was fantastic for them. I really think this is a team that could surprise and take a step forward. And of course, I didn't even mention probably DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge, but I do think they'll take some steps forward this year. I do. All right, Toronto Raptors, Joe, over under 42.5 wins.
Under.
Yeah, I feel like I got to go over on this one as much as I don't want to. I mean, if you have the Celtics as the 5th seed, you probably need Toronto right around that 4th seed area. Maybe unless you want to go Miami. I don't know. I have no interest in playing that one. I don't know which way to go. All right, Utah Jazz, 42.5.
Over.
I'm gonna go under.
They're gonna win a ton of games this year.
Why? They're a nice team. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. They could be a surprise team in the West. And finally, to wrap up, the Washington Wizards, 33.5.
Under.
I'm gonna go under too. I think the East is getting better. And again, Westbrook is, whenever he gets hurt, there's always issues there. The other thing I will say is Houston did not have a team total listed, obviously, due to the James Harden stuff. So we're going to skip that one. But hopefully that helps. Joe, who is your pick to win the Eastern Conference this year?
Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Brooklyn Nets. Joe, who's your pick in the Western Conference this year?
Lakers.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Lakers too. Who's your NBA champion?
Lakers.
All right, I'm going to go too. Give me the Lakers to win the title at plus 350. Give me the Nets to win the East, and give me a Lakers and Nets matchup final. Those will be my NBA plays for the day. So. For the season. All right, Joe. Want to take a quick break and then finish off with some NFL?
We will wrap it up after this. All right, we are back it up. Let's just talk Thursday night's game real quick. Get everybody involved here. Raiders
can't hear you super well.
How about right now?
Nope.
Oh, hang on. How about now?
Doesn't sound no. Can you get the you have a mic or something closer?
How we doing?
Yeah, that sounds better.
How we doing?
That sounds a little bit better. All right.
There I am. I'm here. I'm back.
All right. Well, roll. Yeah, it's fun. You sound fun now. All right, let's roll with that. All right, Joe. NFL. Big week. Week 15. Patriots pretty much done from the playoffs. Don't really have to give a shit.
You want to talk about the Thursday game first?
Let's do the Thursday game. Let's do the Chargers Raiders game.
So one thing I'll throw out here real quick: the Raiders have won the last 3 meetings between these two teams. They owned this series. They won the game earlier this year, 31-26. That was back in November. So Dan, I lean overs with the Chargers on the road. and with the Raiders in general. The Raiders without 3 defenders tonight. But the Chargers, 4 straight games have gone under the total. So when I see 54 right off the bat, Raiders give up points and score a lot of points. Chargers score on the road. Do we lean over? Or do we look at it on a Thursday night case on a short week? The Raiders reeling a little bit. Chargers off a win. Do we look at it as a lower scoring game? Maybe is the reason why the line is moved from 3.5 to 3.
Well, it was 3 to 3.5 to 4. Got up to 4.5 at one point, and it's back down to 3 or 3.5, depending on where you are. This is a game I go Chargers or nothing. I need a 3.5 to take the Chargers. I wouldn't take them at 3. I need the 3.5. I don't feel great about the total. I really don't feel great about the total at all. I can see this being a crazy high scoring game. Thursday, obviously, defenders out. And I can also see the Chargers putting up a fucking clunker like they did against the Patriots and, scoring a touchdown. So I'm taking a look at this and saying, I think I'm going to stay away from the total. I don't love anything in this game, Joe. If I'm forced to take a side, I'm taking the Chargers 3.5. I would look maybe to tease the Chargers tonight. That would be an angle I would potentially go with, is maybe take them up. If you can find a 4, maybe tease them up to 10. Even a 9.5 will be okay. I think it's not exactly exactly a great teaser spot in general, or just a spot in general. I lean the Chargers, but man, I don't love anything about tonight's game at all. My favorite prop actually is I'll give this out. Let me see if I can fucking find
I liked Austin Eckler as a prop, but now everybody's playing tonight.
Yeah, I'll go with Aguilar over 4.5 catches plus 165. And yes, I know the Patriots beat both of these teams, but my point was the Chargers put up absolutely no fucking points. They got shut out by the Patriots. The Raiders, on the other hand, did not. So that was kind of the point there. At least the Raiders put up a fighting chance against the Patriots. I will go Nelson Aguilar over 4.5 receptions plus 165. You could find that on WGH if you need a reference for that number. So, all right. Do you have any plays for tonight, Joe? Anything you really like? Anything you want to peep?
Chargers are 1-6 against the spread the last 7. They're just not good against their division. The Raiders need this game. I think the Raiders win, but I'm going to go under. I'm going under 54.5.
Gotcha.
Fuck it.
All right.
PP it. Let's do it. PP it.
You want PP it? Okay. There you go.
Let me actually just look at what the line is real quick.
Right now, and I'll get you the actual total. The total was 52.5.
Ooh. Okay, let me just put it in my. See what the old local has it at. Usually they're pretty dead on. Let's see here. All right, so Thursday Night Football. Raiders -3, -120, 52.5.
Yep.
I'm going to go under 52.5. I like 54, though, but
I don't think there's any difference. All right. PP from Joey Murray under 52.5 in tonight's Thursday Night Football game for those watching. Everyone's going to be on the over right now. Let me just kind of tell you what those stats are. The over, by the way, this is going to be a pros versus Joes type game. The over right now is getting 70% of the bet, but just 53% of the money. And the total has opened at 55, went down to 52.5. Definitely a pros versus Joes game tonight in that total, Joe. So right now you are being a pro instead of a Joe, which is funny because your name is Joe.
Well, just real quick, as I mentioned, the under has been favorable in Chargers matchups, even the Patriots game that won 45-0.
Yep.
And I don't know, like maybe without the defensive guys, they slow the game down and the game's closer.
I do think that again you have to also remember it's a divisional game.
On a short week.
Yep, divisional game on a short week, and the divisional games are just different. We talk about this every week, but divisional games are different. They're a different breed of game. The teams know each other better. It's a different type of game, a different type of strategy. So again, I think you really need to understand where everything kind of that is. So
Yeah, and again, if you don't like my pick, you just fade it.
yep, there you go.
As easy as that. That's the pick. You fade it.
All right, Saturday, Joe. We'll start with the afternoon game.
Oh yeah,
Buffalo.
I forgot we got Saturday games this week.
Yep, Buffalo Bills on the road at Mile High versus the Broncos. Buffalo -6. The total in this one is 49. You might be able to see some 49.5 pop as well. Well, what are you feeling on this one, Joe? Because I know that there's a lot of people who have told me they like Denver this week.
Recency bias, right? You have to look at it right away. Denver doesn't put up enough points. I don't think they can run the ball enough. You would think they could run the ball enough, huh?
Yep.
They're at home too, which is different. Underdog is 5-1 in the last 6 meetings. Buffalo is 6-0 against the spread the last 6 meetings. Give me Buffalo.
Okay, I'm going to go the opposite of you. I'm going to take Denver. You want to talk about recency bias? I think everyone in the world is hopping on the Bills. I've heard them called the best team in the NFL. I've heard them, called the second best team in the NFL. Josh Allen MVP. They had a good win versus the Steelers at home, but again, prior to that, their 2 wins against the Chargers and the Niners, they played well. I kind of sit there and think that at some point, Buffalo is going to get got, whether it's by the Patriots, whether it's by the Broncos. I think they're going to get got by one of these teams. In Denver, it's tough for these teams to go on the road and beat them in Denver. I think Lindsey and Gordon should be able to run it enough to hurt Buffalo. They've been pretty successful doing that all season. I'll go Denver. I'll take the points with Denver.
All right, and here's where I'm going with it, Dan. I'm going Buffalo in the early game as the square, and I'm going to take Carolina in the late game to cover.
You're going to take Carolina in the 8.
Yeah, on Saturday. Yeah, as of right now, I just think that everyone's going to jump on Green Bay. We know about Teddy Bridgewater's record as against the spread. Carolina hasn't been great. I think they get McCaffrey back.
No, McCaffrey sounds like he's not going to play.
Not going to. Okay. The over 7-1 in the last 8 games between these two teams.
I don't really have a great feel for the Saturday night game. I feel better about the Denver spot.
Well, Green Bay could lose and just watch everybody else fuck it up this weekend and win the conference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to win the conference no matter what, the division no matter what. I would be surprised if they lose to Carolina at home versus Carolina. The one thing that does surprise me on this is that would mean Green Bay is a 2-point favorite. On the road at Carolina, not like a 4.5 point favorite. The line does seem a little short in my opinion. That it's only 8. It is a bit of a surprise there. Total 51.5. Again, I'm just going to stay away from this game. But I do think that the line favors Carolina. I don't want to play it. Joe, 1:00. We'll get this game over with. The New England Patriots head to Miami. We talked about this game a little bit this morning. We disagreed on the outcome. What do you think happens here? Miami's -3.
Dolphins PP.
You're taking Miami's -1.5. You want to PP that?
PP.
All right, so I'm not going to take the other side. I don't think the Patriots are going to win this game, but I think this is your perfect classic teaser spot for the Patriots. I gave out a stat earlier this morning. Bill Belichick since 2015 undefeated against rookie quarterbacks outright as a dog, 3-0 versus rookie quarterbacks. To me, it's Tua versus the Patriots defense and Miami, and Cam versus the Miami defense. It's probably an under game. It probably is.
If Cam has a turnover, the Patriots will fucking lose, and all Miami does is turn the football over.
Yeah, but their majority of their turnovers come from the interception, and the Patriots don't throw the ball enough to really have a massive amount of turnovers that way. I think the Miami struggles defensively with the run, and that's exactly what the Patriots do well offensively. I think it is a good matchup for the Patriots, and I think that's why you've seen the sharp bettors move the line from 3 to 1.5 because of the matchup. Now, not saying that I'm going to take that side. I'm just telling you, kind of the thought process there. Belichick dominates rookie quarterbacks. Like he did it versus Herbert, shut him out. Better coaching with Miami. Flores will get, to a prep for what they're going to expect to see. That being said, Tua is rookie quarterback. He's going to be confused. I do think that the Patriots will be able to slow him down. I think it's going to be a very close game, closer than people think. All right, 1:00, Buccaneers, Falcons. Tampa Bay is -6 on the road. The total is 49.5.
Wicked square here, but give me the Bucks here. I just think they can know how to stop the run in this case.
I don't disagree with you at all. There's opened at 3.5. It's at 6.
I also backed the 49ers last week too.
I would probably lay it up to 6.5 with the Bucks. I'm not going to PP it, but this is a spot I really like. They should bounce back. I think Matt Ryan's gonna have to throw the fucking football. If he doesn't throw the football, it's gonna be over real quick. But I do like.
The Falcons.
Yes, I do like.
Oh yeah, dude, they gave that game to the Chargers last week. They fucking gave it to them last week.
Yep. All right, Niners Cowboys 1:00.
So I'm going Cowboys. And again, the reason for it is I feel that the Cowboys can throw the football on the 49ers. I think they can stop the run. I backed the 49ers last week. They sucked. The Cowboys got a little rhythm going, right? A little win last week. The other thing, too, is who wants the fucking draft pick, right? So I'm gonna go Cowboys, even though I think a lot of people are gonna back the 49ers here.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, dude. To me, the Cowboys are a great spot this week. They have too many wide receivers, and the Niners have no secondary. I take a look at how San Francisco wants to attack Dallas, and I actually think Dallas matches up against, pretty well against them on both sides of the football. This opened as Dallas -1. The look ahead originally was Dallas -3. Opened as Dallas -1. Now it's San Francisco -3. It is very surprising to me that people love the Niners this week. And again, if you want to back a team like Tampa as a public favorite, that's fine. But backing a team like the Niners is surprising to me. Give me the Cowboys +3. I think they win that game outright too.
How about the Bears and Vikings? I like the Bears this week. I think Mitch is playing well. The total's 46. I know Minnesota's at home. I know it's a 1:00 game. I know they can put up points. I like Chicago in the under in this spot.
Yeah, Minnesota open as a 4.5-point favorite. I think that's probably right. If you go back to the recency bias, Chicago coming off a nice win, Minnesota coming off a bad loss. I go opposite on that. I would take Minnesota. I would lay the points with Minnesota in I'll steal this from our friends of the Sports Gambling Podcast, which is a closer as special. I'll lay the points with Minnesota. Their field goal kicker missed like 6 field goals. Otherwise, they might be in that. They didn't be able to miss every fucking field goal. Otherwise, they might be in that game. Chicago crushed the Texans, but outside that one win, they haven't looked good. Now they have to do it on the road. This is a different type of game. Chicago is going to have to stop the run. It's a totally different type of game to me, and I'm going to go with Minnesota there.
All right, and then Baltimore, Jacksonville. Jacksonville is getting 13. We know they're a covering machine. Minshew, the quarterback again. They're 0-6 on the road, but they're 4-6 against the spread. So I think Baltimore wins the game, and I think they do get out to a 14, 18-point lead. They win the game. It just doesn't come down to a cover. I don't think it matters to Baltimore to cover. So I'm going to lay off this game. But generally, I think Baltimore handles this game. It's just Minshew magic,
Yeah, I'm not going to PP it, but I do agree with you. I think that this is a Jacksonville spot to cover as well. Especially if you can get that 14. Baltimore's coming off a massive emotional victory against Cleveland on the road versus a divisional opponent in basically what was a playoff game, and now they have a letdown spot. This is like a massive letdown spot in my opinion. I would absolutely take Jacksonville plus the 14. So.
All right, and then we got a couple more 1:00 games here. Detroit, Tennessee. Detroit, man, but they're close to covering almost every game. Tennessee's minus 11 here. It opened up at 8, now 11. I think Tennessee wins, but again, I don't know if they cover.
Listen, if Tennessee wins this game, Detroit cannot get to 8 wins. That's all I care about is just under 7.5 wins on the season. So to me, I'm not going to lay 11 with the Titans. They don't cover big spreads. They just don't. I think that's way too many points. I know the total is 51.5. I would look over on the total. I think both teams will score. The question is, what will, kind of what else will be going on there. So, I'm going to go with the over in that one. That would be the side I would like.
All right. Houston, Indy. I like Houston getting the points, but listen to this trend. The Texans are 3-12-2 their last 17 meetings against the Colts. But the under in this series, very good. 9-2 the last 11, 4-1 the last 5. The road team, though, has covered the last 14 meetings, 10-2-2. So I kind of lean the Texans here, but if I had to choose anything in this game, it would be the under with the good defense of Indiana.
Interesting. All right. Let's see here.
And then we got Washington, Seattle. I don't know who was it. Haskins going to be the quarterback. I don't fucking know who's going to be the quarterback.
Yeah, Haskins is going to be a quarterback as of right now.
This might sound super square, dude, but I like Seattle here.
I mean, it is and it isn't. I think that it's an okay spot for them. Obviously they're coming off that fucking beat down of the Jets after losing to the Giants outright. I don't think it's a crazy spot. Washington's won 4 straight though. Like at some point, this team has to come back down to earth a little bit. 2 big wins on the road, three wins on the road in a row, at the Cowboys, at the Steelers, at the Niners. They have to come back down a little bit. I think Seattle's a chance to blow them out if they get ahead early. So,
how about Philly, Arizona? Philly off their upset win over the Saints. Arizona covers the spread. They're 6.5 again. I think the spread is right. Arizona's in that final spot. So I think Arizona wins the game, Dan. Recency bias is people are going to back Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts magic. I think Arizona's defense can contain Philly's. And I think Arizona wins this game. I'll probably go with a cover too.
Yeah, I almost PP'd this spot. This is my first or second favorite NFL spot of the week to me. Arizona should smoke them. Philly, a nice win last week. You did a fun time with Jalen Hurts. Now there's tape on them. Okay, now there's tape. Now let's see what you can do on the road against a really good playoff team. I'm going Arizona here. I like them a lot in the spot. I might PP that. All right, Rams Jets. The Rams are 17.5 point favorites at home. Joe, what are you doing here?
I see a lot of running the football by the Rams.
A lot of Cam Akers.
A lot of Cam Akers.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a bad fucking day for the Jets.
I agree. I think it's gonna be a bad fucking day for the Jets. Robert Woods sounds like he may not play for the Rams, which does hurt them. Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers. I expect obviously them to start running the ball down the throat of the Jets, not give away too much in the final few weeks of the season. I would go Rams. I would lay the number with the Rams, which is crazy, but I would. Not that I'm going to, but I would. All right, Joe, probably the game of the week. Definitely the game of the week. Kansas City on the road at the Saints. It sounds like Drew Brees is on track to play. We don't know officially, but it sounds like he is. Kansas City is a 3-point favorite. Total in this one is 51.5.
So those motherfuckers gave up a field goal, a meaningless field goal, 30 seconds to go against Miami, and they didn't cover. They haven't covered in 4 weeks. I think Taysom Hill is going to be the quarterback this week. I don't think their offense is going to keep up with Kansas City. So, again, I'm going to fucking play with fire, and I'm going to go Kansas City -3 PP. Thank you. And again, buyer beware. Kansas City doesn't cover the spread often.
Yeah, this is a game I want nothing to do with. It feels like the total says to me it's going to go under. That's what I think it's saying to me. I'm not gonna do it, but that's what it says to me. This game is going to be fucking fantastic. I'm not going to play it. I'm not. I'm going to pay attention to it. I'm going to watch it. It's going to be a fucking great game, but I'm not going to play it. I have no interest in getting fucked over by anyone on that, by anyone on the fucking Chiefs, because I've just seen it so many weeks in a row now at this point. Like they're just they win but don't cover. Not doing it. I'm not buying the bait. The Chiefs feel like something is wrong with that team, in my opinion. There's something that's starting to go wrong. They're winning, but they're not covering, and eventually they're gonna get caught. Someone's gonna get them. All right, Sunday night.
No Jason Garrett.
No Jason Garrett. The Cleveland Browns head to New York to take on Freddie Kitchens and the New York Giants. Cleveland is laying 4.5 on the road. Total in this one's 44, Joe. Do you have a feeling on this game?
What concerns me is Cleveland's on the road. But they should fucking beat the Giants.
I mean, they should. We also thought the Giants would get fucking crushed by Seattle, and they won 2 weeks ago. Seattle, I mean, New York has been, their last 5 games, they're 4-1. They've been a very good team recently. They beat Seattle. They beat Washington on the road and Philly. So they're beating their division opponents. Cleveland's coming off a heartbreaking loss, against a divisional opponent. It's not a good on a short week. I mean, it's not really a good spot to take Cleveland here. It's not. That being said, I won't take the Giants, but this is an under game to me. The scream is under. It has under written all over it. I'll probably end up PPing it on Saturday. This is an under game to me.
All right, and finally, PP, boom, boom. And then finally, Pittsburgh Bengals. Pittsburgh hasn't covered. They haven't looked well. Cincinnati is going to throw what? P. Ryan and fucking who else? Mixon? I don't even know if Mixon's playing.
No.
Who else? They got fucking
Gio Bernard.
It's going to be a Monday nighter, dude. Ben's going to have to bounce back, dude. I think the Pittsburgh covers.
I do too.
A fucking Monday night game in Cincinnati is boring as fuck.
Yeah, I think at some point one of these big faves is going to break through, and they're going to cover. The problem is that they've looked so bad. Just the last few games. It's hard to want to back them, even if it's against Cincinnati. Yeah, I mean it's. Man, I'm going to stay off that game. I'm going to stay off the game completely. I bet you Cincinnati scores some points. Divisional game. I bet it goes over. I don't want to fucking touch it.
Hey, our bet looks good. Kansas 29, Texas Tech 26 at the half.
Yep. Yeah. So that looks good. We gave out a bunch of win totals, bunch of NBA win totals. Joe, I think I gave out one college football. Did you give out some college football?
Yes, I gave out.
Yes, you did. Yeah,
3.
Yep, you gave out 3 college football players. Okay, I gave out college basketball, college football, and I think Joe gave out also some NFL. I will give out some NFL this weekend. College basketball going well for us right now, Joe. This is our last podcast of 2020.
Thank God. Sorry.
Yes. Joe's tired.
I'm miserable. I'm fucking pissed. I
It-
fucking stuck in fucking plow in the fucking. Sorry.
Joe's having a bad day. He woke
You know
up
what though?
early.
You know what? The first snowstorm of the year, my snowblower don't gotta fucking work. You know, like you ever see Johnny Five fucking short circuit? Your mother was a snowblower. My fucking snowblower doesn't fucking work. What the fuck's up with that shit?
See, this is what happens when Joe gets mad. It's the fucking Boston kid comes out of him, right? The accent comes out.
Motherfucker. Like I'm fucking now. What am I gonna do? I gotta fucking just wheel my fucking 4-wheel drive ass car out. I'm gonna go get a pizza. I'm gonna go bet on football the rest of the night.
That's what you should do, dude. It's a fucking wintry night in New England. You fucking put on TV, maybe smoke a little something.
I have not smoked in over a year, Dan Lifshitz.
Sorry, apologies. This is me.
I want to. Trust me. Hire me. Someone give me a damn fucking job, and then I'll light it up.
You have a job.
I know, but I want like a real job.
You have another job.
I know. I didn't say that. All right, we gotta go. It's 8:00. He's Dan Lifshitz. I'm Joe Murray. We'll talk to everybody on Saturday. This is another edition of Over Under 985.
Who you got? Have a good one, fellas.
All right, Dan.